And so Stefan recovered enough that the next morning he was able to walk downstairs to thank Mrs. Flowers for her potions. The rest of us, though, all the humans, were totally exhausted. We didn't even think about what had happened to the bouquet, because we didn't know it had anything special in it. We'd gotten it just as we were leaving the dark dimension from a kind, white kitsune who'd been in the cell across from Stefan's before we arranged a jailbreak. He was so beautiful. I never knew a kitsune could be kind, but he had given Stefan these flowers. Anyway, that morning, Damon was up. Of course, he couldn't contribute any of his own blood, but I honestly think he would have if he could. That was the way he was back then. And that's why I don't understand how I can feel the fear I feel now. How can you be terrified of someone who's kissed you and called you his darling and his sweetheart and his princess, and who has laughed with you with his eyes dancing with mischief, and who's held you when you were frightened and told you there was nothing to be afraid of, not while he was there? Someone you only had to glance at to know what he was thinking? Someone who has protected you, no matter what the cost to himself, for days on end? I know Damon. I know his faults, but I also know what he's like inside. And he's not what he wants people to think he is. He's not cold or arrogant or cruel. Those are facades he puts on to cover himself, like clothes. The problem is that I'm not sure he knows he isn't any of these things. And right now he's all mixed up. He might change and become all of them because he's so confused. What I'm trying to say is, that morning only Damon was really awake. He was the only one who saw the bouquet, and one of the things Damon definitely is curious. So he unwrapped all the magical wards from it, and it had a single pitch-black rose in the center. Damon has been trying to find a black rose for years, just to admire it, I think. But when he saw this one, he smelled it, and boom! The rose disappeared. And suddenly, he was sick and dizzy, and he couldn't smell anything, and all his other senses were dulled as well. That was when Sage— oh, I haven't even mentioned Sage— but he's a tall, bronze, gorgeous hunk of a vampire who's been such a good friend to all of us, told him to suck in air and to hold it, to push it down into his lungs. Humans have to breathe that way, you see. I don't know how long it took Damon to realize that he really was a human, no joke, nothing anyone could do about it. The black rose had been for Stefan, and it would have given him his dream of being human again. But when Damon realized it had worked its magic on him, that's when I saw him look at me and lump me in with the rest of my species. A species he's come to hate and scorn. Since then, I haven't dared look him in the eye again. I know he loved me just days ago. I didn't know that love could turn to, well, to all the things he feels now about himself. You'd think it would be easy for Damon to become a vampire again, but he wants to be as powerful a vampire as he used to be, and there isn't anyone like that to exchange blood with him. Even Sage disappeared before Damon could ask him. So Damon is stuck like this until he finds some strong, powerful, and prestigious vampire to go through the whole process of changing him. And every time I look into Stefan's eyes, those jewel-green eyes that are warm with trust and gratitude, I feel terror, too. Terror that somehow he'll be snatched away again, right out of my arms, and terror that he'll find out how I've come to feel about Damon. I hadn't even realized myself how much Damon has come to mean to me.